Hi, my name is Dylan Atkinson, and this is my film project. So from 1990 to 1995, there was all kinds of technology going on. The first computer with World Wide Web browser was introduced. Linux free operating system was started up in 1991 by Microsoft. Basically, it was just an operating system that was worldwide. And the first SMS text message was actually sent in 1992, so now people could send out and talk through text. Towards the end of the era, 1994, Amazon was founded, and the last year here, Windows 95 is introduced by Microsoft. And so computers were really coming alive as far as technology goes in 1990 to 1995, but film was kind of staying the same. It was still in the analog version. Digital wouldn't be released until the 2000s, and so from like the 80s and the 90s, it was still kind of analog version, and not really a lot of technological advancements going on. Let's talk about some movies during this time period that was released. There were several good movies. Forrest Gump was one of them, starring Tom Hanks. The Terminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Hannibal Lecter was a series of movies, going from The Silence of the Lambs to Hannibal, and he's just one of those killers of the 1990s that people loved in the horror version. And so there was a lot of good movies. That's just a few that I mentioned there that were released in the 90s. All kinds of different genres. So now let's get into Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is one of my favorite movies from this time period, but it was released in 1994, and it's starring Tom Hanks. And, Forrest Gump is one of those movies that, you just gotta love. There's a bunch of reasons why people love Forrest Gump. I'm only going to cover a few here. So let's get into some of it. Forrest Gump taught. There was many moral lessons and hidden values in Forrest Gump. If you'll watch it real closely, you can kind of catch some of them. I listed a few of them here. Don't be afraid to be honest. Always tell those you care about how you feel. Forrest is a very honest man, and he's kind of scared to tell the girl that he loves her until the end. And he waits till the end. But don't be afraid to lose. Always try new things because you might be great at them. There's a scene in here where Forrest is playing ping pong, and he just starts playing, and he goes to China, ends up being a celebrity ping pong player, and goes to China to play ping pong. Sometimes you have to do the right thing, even though somebody's telling you not to. There's a scene here that Forrest is in Vietnam, and his leader got shot and got his legs blown off, and the whole time he was telling Forrest to leave him, but Forrest didn't listen to him. He did the right thing, and he brought him back all the way through Vietnam. And so, very, very great hidden lessons hidden in there that, they're all the way through the movie. So, another reason Forrest Gump's a good movie is because, it's just well made. It's a very creative storytelling movie. The writer and producers were very, very brilliant with their storytelling. Somehow Forrest stumbles through every memorable moment in American history. He goes from teaching Elvis how to dance to inspiring John Lennon's Imagine song. At one point, it comes out that he is the one that discovers the Watergate scandal, and it's a lot of history involved in there, comedy, and that you can you recognize it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's part in history. He also plays football. Just a bunch of little things like that he ends up surviving. And I think that's one of the reasons people love this movie, is because this movie incorporates about every different kind of genre in one movie. You have your history buffs, you have your comedy little bits in there. You have, your dramatic events, him and his love life, his romantic comedy. It's just got a lot of different genres mixed in, and people love it for that reason. another reason, and the final reason that I really chose this movie is because this movie is very good about using the characters to teach a lesson. You know, every character in this movie goes through transformations that really brings out the moral values I was talking about towards the beginning. I'm only going to talk about two here. Lieutenant Dan was Forrest's lieutenant and his platoon leader in Vietnam. And in the beginning, when you first meet him, he kind of starts out as a no-nonsense kind of leader of his military unit. Like I was saying in the beginning, he just kind of wanted to die. He had no joy, no hope. And Forrest pulled him out of Vietnam, and in the end, he kind of finds his joy again. And, he didn't give up. And, he found his new magic legs, as Forrest likes to say. And him and Forrest end up getting on a shrimp boat, and they go fishing for shrimp. Like I said, Forrest about does everything in this movie. The last character I'm going to talk about is Forrest. Forrest is not smart. He had an IQ of 73, and he goes from walking with braces to running in college football. That's one of the physical transformations that Forrest goes through. He loved to run. But I really want to cover a philosophical aspect. In the end, throughout the whole movie, Forrest seems like a guy that just listens to everybody. Everybody tells him what to do. And in the end, you find that he's been listening to everybody. And in the end, you see that he's actually thinking about life and death. Thinking about it, has a son, and he's learned from his mom how not to treat his son, or I should say treat his son, and how to raise him from his mom. And like I said, the ending scene shows it, whether he's questioning life and death, and whether life is like a box of chocolates, or you never know what you're going to get, or, as Lieutenant Dan said, everyone has a destiny. Like I said, he was listening to everything. And this kind of shows that Forrest just went from that 73 IQ of, kind of dumb, just doesn't listen to anybody. I mean, just kind of everything just kind of goes by, to him starting questioning life and death. And that shows that he's went through that, that philosophical transition, that transformation. And I think it's brilliant how the writers brought that out. So that is why I chose Forrest Gump as, one of my favorite movies, and it's one of the best movies from 1990 to 1995. Thank you for listening.